Hello, and welcome to Smash Metafiction, the side project of Smash Fiction, where we put aside our differences and work not to pit characters against one another, but to unite them together in pursuit of a common goal. In this case, to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is your real test. To train them is your cause. Pokémon.
Gotta catch them. Oh, sorry.
So, welcome to the 10th episode of Surprise Party Poke Pals.
Sorry, I'm just Pokemon, man. Pokemon.
Pokemon is a world of wild animals, exploration, trying your hardest, and of course, asking your pets to fight one another for glory and honor. Often, the fights are won and lost based on types of creatures fighting, so for example, a rock-type Pokemon might be weak against water-type Pokemon. It's a complicated world. When you turn 10, you are granted your first Pokemon and allowed out into the world to explore and catch as many Pokemon as you have Pokeballs to fill. It is in this odd and peaceful land where your story begins. And it started with you waking up and rushing to get dressed so you could meet Professor Oak to get your very first starter Pokemon. He looked you over, and instead of asking his normal conversation starter, are you a boy or girl, he asks, are you a little old to be starting off on your Pokemon journey? Well, you explained, where you grew up there was compulsory schooling and laws about child neglect. And besides, doesn't it make more sense to let 30-year-olds roam the countryside than it does to just chuck 10-year-olds out to the wild? Professor Oak gave you a strange look, then broke the news that all the starter Pokemon were gone. Well, no, not quite. There were 3 left. And they didn't like any of you very much. But you had made a vow that you would be the greatest Pokemon trainer the world has ever seen. So you took your little Pokemon, got your bag packed, and headed out into the world, determined to achieve your dreams. And you've already made so much progress. In fact, in their travels, our heroes have picked up several types of Pokemon and learned valuable lessons about friendship, animal care, and always having enough clean underwear. Thanks for that reminder, Ash's mom. But now, our heroes have heard about a challenge that has inspired them and given them a purpose. They're going to earn the right to compete in the Indigo Plateau Conference. They've braved Beedrills, cheered up Charmanders, and fought with Farfetch'd. Can they handle this? I'm Megan Bob, and as the one who is most likely to cry about how beautiful Bulbasaur is, I'll be leading this journey. And before we can begin making our way to the Indigo League, we have to meet our trainers. So joining me to travel across the land, searching far and wide. Sorry. Joining me are Kit Mulcairn. Aww. Dan Mulcairn.
Guys, I just checked my bookshelf, and they are all books on Pokemon. So I kind of feel like I'm in real good shape for this.
And with them, hoping someone is finally going to replace her damn bike, it's Claire Mulcairn.
Pokemon, Pokédoll monsters, Pokemon are what this episode's about.
Yay! For this surprise party, I will be presenting our players, or for this episode, trainers, with various challenges from the Pokemon universe. Unlike previous episodes, Kit, Dan, and Claire are functionally playing as themselves. What they have brought with them is a team of Pokemon plucked out of various fictional works. Our trainers will take turns choosing a Pokemon to meet the challenges before them and explain how their Pokemon saves the day. At that point, the chosen character is unusable for the rest of the game. At the end of each challenge, I'll decide privately which character met the challenge the best and award points accordingly before moving on to the next challenge. At the end of the game, when the Indigo League Conference has finally wrapped up and the stadium is cleared, I'll announce which trainer had the most points, and they and their Pokemon will be declared the winner. So, to get this started, we need to see what's in those Pokeballs you brought along. And in order to do that, we will be rolling initiative, so kindly roll those dice for me.
I got a 13.
5.
6.
Okay. All right, the order will be Dan, Kit, and Claire. But this order will be rotating every round. So the first character slot is the fire type. Characters that you choose for this slot should be aggressive and powerful, with an emphasis on offense over defense and impulsivity over thoughtful action. Even if they don't literally harness the element of fire, they should definitely be hot-headed. So, Dan, who is your fire type?
My fire type is Lena Inverse from Slayers.
Okay.
That's great.
I have heard that name because it has appeared on our list at one point. So, tell me more about this person.
So, Slayers is an anime based on kind of a D&D style interpretation of Western fantasy. In it, Lena is a traveling sorceress / mercenary. When I watch Slayers, I kind of get the impression that, like, her experience with her world is one of, like, a 20th level sorcerer going through a first level module. Like, she seems like she's ridiculously overpowered for the world that she's adventuring through. She's easily one of the most powerful spellcasters in her world. She knows, like, several of the world's most powerful black magic spells and just kind of uses them whenever. Her kind of signature attack is Dragon Slave, which I think is, like, the third most powerful spell on the planet. And she just, like, casually unleashes apocalypses with the wave of her hand with this spell. She's also very impulsive, very selfish, quite gluttonous, and also, like, deeply self-conscious. She's fantastic. I think she's a great character. She's a lot of fun, and I'm very happy to have her as my fire type.
Oh, she sounds fun. And Kit, who is your fire type?
All right, y'all might want to back up a little bit, because... Let me open up my little Pokeball here. Pew! Pew! Oh, shit! It's Godzilla, motherfuckers.
Oh my god.
All right.
Well, all right.
So we had Godzilla in regular Smash Fiction, Collaboratory.
And
I think the only
Extraordinary
one
League.
he hasn't hit now is Shipwrecked, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
baby, I gotta get that bingo, or is that a free square?
Yeah, I mean, you did just do Mothra, so close enough.
Godzilla's this gigantic dinosaur that was mutated by nuclear testing. The first time he shows up, he like rampages through Japan, but he's really changed throughout the decades. He's kind of become like a children's hero. He's more of a protagonist, and then sometimes he returns to being this like force of destruction. But the most important thing you should know is he's fucking strong, and he's got atomic breath, and he's kind of a bad boy that like just so happens to play good guy when there's a bigger baddie on the scene.
Good job, Godzilla. And Claire, who is your fire type?
My fire type is Ferris from Final Fantasy V.
oh man, she's on the ocean though. She's got to be careful.
In Final Fantasy V, there's a group of 4 main characters. Each one of them is a warrior of light. They are like the chosen one with a special affinity for one of the 4 classical elements. And Ferris is the warrior of light of fire. She was a princess who was lost at sea as a small child and raised by pirates. The pirates decided to raise her as a boy because they thought that life would be too hard in the world of pirates for a girl. And so she grew up like being raised as a boy and also talks like a pirate and like swears a lot and is really like a jerk. But she's also just great in terms of her abilities. All of the characters in Final Fantasy V can switch between the different Final Fantasy classes. So she can kind of do a little bit of everything. Some of the characters have stronger leans towards different stats. She's kind of in the middle, but it has a little bit of a lean towards agility and speed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's easily the best
fucking
character
hot.
from FF5.
Forgot that part. Fucking hot.
Also that. And she has pink hair.
I will be Googling that later.
Part of the hotness.
The second character slot is the grass type. Grass types usually have a strong connection to the natural world, whether they're just kind of outdoorsy or actually have literal flowers growing out of their backs. They also tend to be patient, willing to give themselves time to build up and grow into an unstoppable force. Kit, who is your grass type?
I chose Squirrel Girl.
Oh yeah.
Yay! All right, tell me about Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl is a superhero. She is a girl with the proportionate strength and speed of a squirrel, but like maybe a little more. She's pretty strong. She has a weird reputation in comics for being unbeatable because she has defeated Dr. Doom, Thanos, and Galactus. A grip of the Avengers. She's quite strong, and also really funny, especially when Ryan North writes her.
Claire, who is your grass type?
My grass type is Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski.
Whoa. Okay, blow my mind.
Oh,
I have
boy.
not seen The Big Lebowski. No, I take that back. I've seen the first third.
Okay. Well, I have good news for you. Every time you watch The Big Lebowski, it gets better. It has been scientifically proven.
Oh, wow.
He is also known as His Dudeness, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing. He is a fellow who lives in the 90s in California. He's currently unemployed. He enjoys drinking White Russians and bowling. He likes sweaters. He's fond of his rug and likes Creedence Clearwater Revival, and is just a very chill dude. In the movie The Big Lebowski, he gets pulled into a weird noir plot and shows that he can be a somewhat competent detective when the occasion calls for it, but generally he just kind of likes to chill in the vein of Grass. And there are maybe other reasons that I picked Grass as his type, you know. Let's just say his favorite Pokemon is Weedle.
He also thinks ferrets are marmots, right? Is that
He does.
All right, Dan, who is your grass type?
My grass type is Jahara from Baldur's Gate.
Oh,
that's
wow.
good.
Okay. That's a great name. I'm
Yep.
on board.
It is. Jahara is a druid, which in Dungeons and Dragons means that she's a spellcaster with a deep connection to nature. So she can do things like call plants up to like reach up from the ground and entangle her enemies. She can summon animals. She can change the weather. She can also wild shape, which is where she takes on the form of an animal or like an elemental or a plant monster or something like that. Jahara, though, is also a fighter, which means that she is really, really good in combat, you know, even if she's not casting spells. Jahara is also a harper, which is sort of like a secret society of do-gooders in her particular setting. She has very little patience for unnecessary bullshit. She constantly calls people on them being ridiculous and will set anyone who tries to defile the forest on fire. She's awesome.
What a hero.
Yeah, she's great.
All right. Your third character slot is the water type. More so than many other characters, water types prefer to play defensively, trusting in their ability to soak up more damage than their opponent can put out. Sometimes they do this in order to protect their weaker friends. Other times they're just looking to outlast their foe, knowing that they'll be able to erode their way to victory before long. So Claire, who is your water type?
My water type is Isaac from The Binding of Isaac.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, he sure cries a lot.
He does indeed. The Binding of Isaac is a video game loosely adapted from the biblical story of the same name, where there's a little boy named Isaac, and his mother hears the voice of God, which tells her that she should kill him. And he flees from his mother by going into the basement. And as he goes deeper and deeper into his basement, he discovers like weird subterranean tunnels beneath his house, and he ends up going deeper and deeper into the earth, into like an increasingly surreal horror world beneath his house, as he's being like pursued by his mother, who is becoming more like strange and demonic as he goes deeper as well. He fights all sorts of monsters down there by crying at them, because when he cries, his tears like shoot off at people, and so he does have like a legit water attack in the vein of a water Pokemon. And then also as he goes deeper, he finds all sorts of weird cursed relics and power-ups that are sort of oftentimes vaguely based on Christian iconography. And the game is a roguelike, so he gets kind of different powers each time, but he sometimes has some sort of other weird demonic Bible powers, you know, so.
This sounds bonkers as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, he's also a small naked child.
He's also a small naked child,
Oh
yes.
my God.
Whose mother also shaved his head.
Dan, who is your water type?
My water type is Aqua from Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Nice.
Appropriate name.
Yeah.
Down with that.
I thought so. Aqua is a Keyblade wielder. So a Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts is basically a magical sword that is also a giant key. When you're a Keyblade wielder, it kind of like unlocks magical abilities for you. And Aqua is one of 3 Keyblade wielders in her Kingdom Hearts game, which is Birth by Sleep, and then she shows up in later games. But in Birth by Sleep, she's the character who is like very focused on magic, and so her magical power is astoundingly powerful. She's able to pull off like many, many times more powerful spells than the other 2 characters in the game are. She's very fast and agile. Like she kind of like cartwheels and backflips around, just kind of like as a matter of course, like just as she like that's how she negotiates the world and can also kind of like glide a little bit. She's very patient, very intelligent, and like makes very good decisions, unlike everyone else in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Is this shade on Goofy? I don't like this.
Yeah, you know, Goofy, the character known for making very wise decisions.
All right, Kit, who is your water type?
So my water dude is this totally radical sea turtle from Finding Nemo. Crush!
Oh, what a good boy. Tell me all about Crush.
He's a green sea turtle. He rides the currents down by Australia. That's all you need to know.
Your fourth character slot is the electric type. Whether or not this character actually throws around lightning, they're definitely lightning fast. Electric types are often the first to act, moving across the battlefield with unmatched speed and agility. Many electric types aren't able to take more than a few hits from an enemy, but enemies soon find that hitting these skittery speedsters is no easy task. Dan, who is your electric type?
My electric type is Tachyon from Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Oh, nice.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
So Sentinels of the Multiverse is a cooperative card game in which all of the players choose a superhero and then you all fight a supervillain together. Tachyon is one of the superheroes in that game. She is basically the Reed Richards of her setting. She's one of those scientists that like not only knows every type of science, but is also the best in her field at every type of science. Like in the backstory, like she helps to cure cancer. She helps to get men to Mars. She helps to like improve gas mileage across the board so that every car gets at least 60 miles to the gallon. She's like at the forefront of every significant scientific discovery of her lifetime. And at one point, she does an experiment on tachyons, which are particles that move faster than light. She gets bathed in them accidentally and then finds that she now has super speed powers. She actually has no upper limit to how fast she can go. Her only real limit is like what her body can take. And so she's developed a lot of like gadgets and outfits and special pieces of equipment to increase the amount of speed that she can safely go. And then also regularly pushes herself beyond that point. So, you know, it's a sort of thing where she can like run around the world multiple times in a second. She can like race through a room full of bad guys and take them all out. It also like applies to her inventing and building of things, so she can like come up with a gadget really, really fast, you know, just like think of the idea and then assemble it very quickly. She's spectacular, and she's a very good electric type for me to have.
All right, Kit, who is your electric type?
Meep. It's the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. I gotta represent one of my favorite aminals ever. It's the Roadrunner.
Aww. You want to give any deep character notes about his motivations and worldview?
He's just a bird out in the desert trying to live his life, and this fucking coyote keeps trying to catch him. But you know what? Instead of being stressed out about it, the Roadrunner sees this as an opportunity to have some fun once in a while and really troll this fucking canine. He's pretty damn clever. If you see what he does, he's stupidly fast in that kind of cartoon physics kind of way, and he does a bunch of other cartoon physics bullshit. So we're gonna have some fun here.
All right, Claire, who is your electric type?
My electric type is Blanca from the Street Fighter games.
Nice.
Oh, I have only recently learned upwards of 2 things about Blanca, but I would like to learn 4.
What things do you know about Blanca right now?
I looked at a picture and Blanca seemed kind of sullen and a little bit sad and like maybe wanted a hug, but also was afraid to be vulnerable. So I learned things that I myself thought from context clues.
You're not categorically off on that. He's a large, muscly green man with a lot of bright orange hair. Why he is a monster changes from game to game and like continuity to continuity. Sometimes he like was in a plane that got struck by lightning. Sometimes he like ate some plants in the forest that turned him green because of chlorophyll ? And then learned how to shoot electricity by watching electric eels do it. In some versions of the story, he was experimented on by Shadowloo, which was the big evil organization. But regardless, he's kind of a guy who's at war with his own animal nature. Sometimes he's more of like a friend to all the children, and other times he's like a terrible murder monster. But basically, he's a a big green monster that lives in the wilderness. He's on the edge between misanthropic and nice, and he is very sad. So basically, I guess he's Shrek.
Yeah!
But with lightning powers, and he's a redhead.
I'm gonna go read some Blanca fanfic now. Your 5th character slot is a wild card and completely up to you. There are 14 other creature types that have appeared throughout Pokemon, so each of you will be able to choose one type not covered so far and pick a character to fill the slot. So, Kit, who is your wild card and what type are they?
He's back, y'all. Or maybe he never really went away, because he's always watching. Yeah, I brought a ghost type. Slender Man.
So ghost type, spectral, spooky kind of critter thing. I'm scared, but will you tell us about Slenderman?
Slenderman is a creation of the internet. Question mark? Maybe he really exists.
Or is he?
You heard it here last, folks.
He's a very tall, long-armed, man-looking thing from a distance. But he has like a completely blank white face. He's dressed in like a suit. Sometimes you'll see these weird like shadow tentacles coming from his back. At first he was spotted in the background of really old black and white photos, always kind of around where children were playing. Knowing about him, it seems to make him cognizant of you. And the more you know about him, the more fucked you are. So, don't get lost in the woods. See this little, like, page thing? Yeah, if you see that, you're probably already fucked. But go ahead and just keep ripping those down and collect all the notes, and maybe he'll stop chasing you if you get all 8 before the sun comes up.
I just want to say that when you started talking about him, I started hearing reverb. So, great. Great.
Yep.
We may never get the answers to this particular surprise party. I may be dead before the end of this. Claire, who is your wild card and what type are they?
I decided to go with a normal type. And my normal type, it's very normal. It's just it's a dog. Just a normal dog. It's a husky, in fact. There's nothing unusual about Jesus Christ, it's the Thing.
What? Oh my god.
Fantastic.
I mean, I guess if Ditto is a normal type, then the Thing would also be a normal type.
I looked that up for reference specifically. I was like, what's Ditto? So
Jeez. So the normal, for those of you who are not Poke experts out there, they are, as Dan helped me put it, notable for mundanity. They appear mundane, but are not necessarily mundane. Unassuming, but often with hidden or unseen potential.
Yes, and what has more unseen potential than the Thing? I'm going with a version of the movie John Carpenter's The Thing. Basically, it is an alien organism that assimilates and replicates its victims at a cellular level. It can shapeshift into any biological structure that it has interacted with before, but it doesn't always have to do it in, like, mimic it how it was before. Like, if it's a person and it gets its head cut off, then its head can, like, grow spider legs and walk away. And it can, like, sprout tentacles and claws. And, if you cut it in half, you got 2 things. Like, even, like, a speck of blood from it can grow into a new thing.
All right, Dan, who is your wild card and what type are they?
I find it interesting that for our wild cards, each of us chose a character who has been in a Smash Fiction match before. Because my wild card is a dark type, and I chose Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog.
Pandering.
I'll fucking take it, though. So good. All right, you know what? Tell me all about Dr. Facilier.
Yeah, so he's also known as the Shadow Man in New Orleans. He's a guy who has like a lot of connections to demons and spirits and all sorts of nasty, shadowy things. He refers to them as his friends on the other side. And his main thing is he like kind of goes around looking for suckers that he can trick into making very ill-advised deals with him. But he also has a lot of powers largely granted to him from his friends on the other side. He's very manipulative and also quite a powerful, like, shadowmancer, I guess. Very, like, versatile and dynamic powers that he mainly uses to, like, trick people into making very bad decisions.
And of course, the 6th and final character slot is the Dumpus. A real misty Psyduck. A real Jesse's Wobbuffet. You know, all those level 3 Rattatas and Caterpies that you've had sitting in your PC since Route 1. Now imagine being required to pull one of those out of retirement and go up against the Elite Four with them. Well, that is what is happening now. So you're going to choose a character that will almost certainly be more of a hindrance than a help. And it is going to somebody else. So Claire, who is Dan Stumpus?
Dan Stumpus is a loving father, a caring husband, and a secret octopus.
Oh, shit.
Dan's Dumpus is Octodad.
What?
That's all right. I can always use a second water type.
So Octodad is the main character of the video games Octodad and the sequel Octodad Dadliest Catch.
Oh my god!
Video games where you play a character named Octodad who's an octopus who is pretending to be a human. He is married a human woman and is living like a normal life in suburbia. And no one in his life knows that he's an octopus, and he has to complete mundane tasks like going grocery shopping or like making dinner for his family or something like that while being an octopus. Basically, the controls of the game are really hard to do anything simple because you're an octopus in like trying to be a human. So yeah, that's
I'm
Octodad.
so happy.
So what you're saying is you gave me a master of disguise. I like it.
I did.
All right, Dan. Who is Kit Stumpus?
Kit Stumpus is Italy from Hetalia Axis Powers.
Shit! Hetalia! Oh my gosh. After this, I'm going to go watch that anime again, I bet. Like right after this.
Wow. I remember watching a little bit of it and remembering that Italy is a bit of a disaster. Would you like to tell us a little bit more?
He's a little more than just a bit of a disaster. In Hetalia, all of the characters are personifications of different countries. The three main characters are Italy, Germany, and Japan. And Italy is a gigantic idiot and a huge coward. Seconds into anything that vaguely resembles a fight, he will immediately start waving a white flag and like cowering down. He really doesn't like doing anything aside from like resting or eating pasta or just kind of like prancing around.
Yeah, he also flirts a little bit. It's very stereotypy, this anime. That's like where so many of the jokes are.
Yes, very much so. He's very much like the Japanese interpretation of an Italian person, kind of. But apparently the Japanese think that Italians are useless because Italy is a useless character. So there you go, Kit.
At least one Japanese person did.
Yes.
And Kit, who is Claire's Dumpus?
Boy. Claire, what is your opinion on bees? Because you get Edward Malus.
Oh, great.
If you're not, I do have his stats. I'm pretty sure he's a normal type.
He still doesn't have any hidden strikes.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we can't all be Snorlaxes. Sometimes we are just Rattatas, aren't we?
Yeah.
His strength lies in punching women while wearing a bear costume. That's double damage. He's resistant to cultist lies, or possibly immune.
Yeah, it's not very effective.
Yeah, and he's weak against fire and bug type.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, I guess I should explain who he is. So in the movie, Edward Malus is like this cop, I think. I forgot why the fuck he goes to this like land where this one bee raising group of people live. And as the movie goes on, he realizes there's something fishy. He screams a lot of great Nicolas Cage things like, why'd he get burned? Why'd he get burned? Why'd he get burned? Why'd he get burned? You just have to watch it. Or don't. It's not really a good movie.
All right. Now, your bags are packed and you've got enough snacks for the road. But as sometimes happens when you stop in at the Pokemon Center, some of those Pokeballs are going to get switched around. So trainers, please roll a d6 to tell me which Pokemon went astray. Dan?
I rolled a 2.
You were giving Jahara to Claire.
All right.
Kit, what did you end up with?
I rolled a 3.
Okay. You're giving Crush to Dan.
Dan, this is the best possible outcome. You can do that voice, like, way too well.
So now I have 3 water types, basically.
You gonna be that next gym leader, watch.
I know.
Claire?
Oh, I got a 6.
Oh, double Dumpus!
Oh, shit.
You are giving your Dumpus to Kit.
Yeah. Sometimes when you throw an Edward Malus into the wind, it comes back and hits you in the face.
I am. So wait, you're telling me I get Edward Malus?
Yes.
I'm
You
so
do.
fucking happy. You don't even understand. Oh,
All right,
thank you,
trainers.
Kit. Thank you.
Trainers, please introduce your final Pokemon roster. Kit, would you please begin?
So, as my fire type, I got my boy, Godzilla. Don't even worry about it. He's like my level 99. Everyone else is like, 23, whatever. Okay, maybe not Squirrel Girl. She's also kind of a 99 too. She's my grass type. I lost my water type. Oh wait, no, I guess I'm just gonna have to throw fucking Edward Malus out there.
He does go swimming very briefly in Wicker Man.
There you go.
Give him a fish suit this time. Yeah.
My electric type is the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. My other level, I don't know, I think he might be a missing no, is Slenderman. And then I do also have Italy from Hetalia. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I love these Pokemon so much, my sweet babies.
Prepare for some weird looks at the Pokemon Center.
Unfortunately, Edward Malus does not evolve when you trade him. He just remains the same.
Claire, please introduce your team.
All right, my fire type is Ferris from Final Fantasy V. My grass type is the Dude from The Big Lebowski. My water type is Isaac from The Binding of Isaac. My electric type is Blanca from Street Fighter. My wild card is a normal type, which is The Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing. And my Dumpus is Jaheira from Baldur's Gate. And if that's your Dumpus, you're doing all right, because she's pretty great.
All right, Dan, introduce your team.
My fire type is Lena Inverse. My electric type is Tachyon. My dark type is Dr. Facilier. And Tremble in Fear, fire and rock types, because I got 3 water types.
Oh,
Crush,
man.
Aqua, and Octodad.
Oh my god,
Oh my
it's
God.
so good.
All right, well, so it begins. Episode 1, Chaos in Kanto. Our heroes have been traveling through the Kanto region and enjoying the scenery when they come upon a town that looks like it needs some help. There are pit traps on the way into town, which isn't usually the sort of hospitality they expect. In town, Officer Jenny points out the graffiti on many of the buildings, the angry-looking shopkeepers that have had goods stolen, and the gang responsible for it all. One of them looks over their sunglasses. Squirtle. Claire, Dan, and Kit have to help this town. They can't just let them be terrorized by the Squirtle Squad, even if they do look really very cool in those little sunglasses. Officer Jenny explains that these Squirtle have been abandoned by their owners and now made it their mission to cause chaos in the town. Each of you needs to choose a Pokemon that can put a stop to these antics and save the town from living under this menace. Dan, which Pokemon do you choose and how do they approach this Squirtly situation?
Crush, I choose you. And Crush is one of those Pokemon that doesn't say his own name. He just always says, dude.
Ah, so good!
Crush emerges from his Pokeball, surveys the scene, and he concludes that these Squirtles are delinquents. Like, they're running around causing a lot of fuss, but Crush can see through their machismo exterior and realizes that these guys just never really had like a good, strong parental figure in their lives, you know? It's like they are trying to assert authority over their lives because like no one ever really took them under their flipper and showed them the way, you know, showed them the way to I forget what he calls it, like the channel in the ocean that like takes you where you need to go, you know? Like from Crush's point of view, these little dudes have just been swimming out in the deep, man. They don't know where to go. It's no wonder that they're swimming around in circles and causing all sorts of trouble. So Crush goes over to them. He gives them a stern but loving and inspiring talk. He takes them to a nearby lake and takes them out swimming. Like, these Squirtles, they're water types and they're turtles, but no one's ever taught them to swim. You know, no one's ever taught them about being a family. But now they know. And with that, they're able to take their first steps toward becoming something more than just troublemakers and delinquents. You know, they don't have to go out and make trouble. They don't have to go out and seek acceptance elsewhere, because they accept themselves and they accept each other.
That was really nice. All right, Kit, tell me who you choose and what their Poke plan is.
Well, I think these turtle crimes need a real superhero touch. Squirrel Girl, I choose you. I think her little voice is going to be Squirrel Girl. Or maybe Doreen Green. Green, Doreen.
Oh, that's great.
Squirrel Girl approaches this. She sees these turtle crimes, and she means to stop them with maybe a little bit of force, but not like too much force, because Squirrel Girl's super cool. She does a little bit of juggling, Squirtle juggling. But they're crafty, right? Especially the leader, Squirtle, with the pointy glasses. They totally soak Doreen Green and Tippy Toe, her little squirrel friend. And they're like halfway through the episode, they're just in a puddle of water, looking all dejected while turtle crime continues. But Squirrel Girls, she realizes that they're just victims of circumstance, right? They need someone who is willing to listen to them the way that she listened to Mole Man. And through this, like, understanding that can only truly be communicated between a lot of repetitions of one's own name. And maybe a few shenanigans done on a Pokemon called Craven. Why not? It's a Pokemon that deserves it. Maybe I'm sure a Team Rocket's around here somewhere. The Squirtle Squad maybe doesn't completely stop pranking people, but they're gonna at least stop some of the actual crimes that they do against human and Pokekind.
Good job. Claire, who is facing off against the Squirtle Squad?
Blanca, I choose you. Blanca.
Oh, God.
Yeah!
God, he's just gonna murder them.
So,
he's got the type advantage for sure.
I was sending Blanca, and I say, okay, why don't you go try to talk to him? Why don't you go try to reason with him? So Blanca goes up, and he does his best, like, hey guys, what's up, And they immediately just think, who's this narc? And then they start, like, kicking him, hitting him, spraying water at him. And that gets him pretty mad. So he then starts, blasting him with lightning. And given that it's super effective, it does pretty well against them. They have a big old fight. You don't fight like multiple people a lot in the Street Fighter games, it's just one-on-one. But one of Blanca's moves is that he just kind of curls into a ball and just surrounds himself with a big shield of electricity that makes it so you can't get close to him. So I just picture he's covered in Squirtles, and then he just does that and just zaps them all off. And then once he's defeated them and defeated their leader in combat, they kind of get a grudging respect for him. And, he's starting to think, oh, maybe now I can convince them to change their ways. But then they make him another offer where they say, no, you change your ways. And they hand him a pair of sunglasses and say, Squirtle, 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 Squirtle. But the subtitles are, hey, Blanca, you've been rejected by people just like we've been rejected by people. Why don't you help us fight against humanity and destroy human civilization? And so Blanca's like, all right, and takes some sunglasses and goes off and joins the Squirtle Squad. So maybe the goal he became friends with them, but they didn't exactly change their ways.
The Kanto region is in ruins. Oh, that's beautiful. So our heroes did an excellent job with the Squirtle Squad. Maybe too good a job. After leaving the Pokemon Center refreshed, it's only hours later when a shadow from above falls on them. Is that a balloon in the shape of Meowth? The balloon dips to land in front of our heroes, blocking their path.
Who are you?
Prepare for trouble.
And make it double.
Oh my god, I didn't know they were going to sound like that. Oh my god. Sorry. Oh my god. To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse.
James.
Team Rocket blasts off at the speed of light.
Surrender now or prepare to fight.
Meowth, that's right.
Posed in a tableau in front of our trainers is a woman with long red hair, a Meowth, and a man with short purple hair and a rose between his teeth. It's Team Rocket. They grab Kit's Squirrel Girl, Claire's Blanca, and Dan's Crush, stuffing them into a bag before hopping into the balloon and lifting off. Thanks for the gifts, Poketwerps, and for showing us their attacks back in Kanto.
The boss is really gonna love these. I've never seen someone train a Squirrel Girl before.
We'll take good care of them. You can trust us.
Oh no! Team Rocket is getting away! How will our heroes stop them from escaping and retrieve their purloined Pokemon? Quick, choose a character that can bring down the balloon and keep Team Rocket out of the way long enough for you to free your captured Pokemon. Kit, let's hear who you choose to take on Team Rocket.
Team Rocket has a real bad time against a particularly crafty little electric type. And I've got a crafty little electric type of my own. The motherfucking Roadrunner. So I'm going to throw that Pokeball out. Let me just fastball special this Pokeball into that balloon there. Out of the ball in the balloon basket appears the Roadrunner. Meep, meep. Pecks Meowth's face a little bit, runs all over the balloon, causing Team Rocket to panic and start releasing their Pokemon. Arbok, in an attempt to catch the Roadrunner, is just stabbing this balloon with its fangs. They're quickly losing altitude, so James panics, tries to get Weezing to fill the balloon with gas. Unfortunately, it ignites in the flame of the balloon, and they go blasting off. But wait, where's the Roadrunner? Oh, he's back on the ground. He's fine. He's got Squirrel Girl, Pokeball, and the other Pokeballs down on the ground with him.
Aw, what a good burb.
Such a good burp.
All right, Claire, who's popping out of that Pokeball?
Jahira, I choose you. Jahira.
Nice.
So Jahira is going to use one of her spells that she has in Baldur's Gate, which is summon animals, to try to summon some birds in order to take down the balloon. But being that she is in the world of Pokemon, it ends up summoning a bunch of Spearows, which are nasty little fuckers that, rip a ton of holes in the balloon. And so it falls to the ground. Then as they're starting to get out, they just see a lady with a staff, and James throws out his Weezing, and Jessie throws out her Arbok, getting ready to fight. But then suddenly, oh wait, Jahira has shapeshifted into a bear.
Not like an Ursa ring, just a bear.
No, just a straight up earth-ass earth bear. Arboks are cool, and Weezings are cool, but bears don't fuck around. You know the word for bear in our language, based on the word for brown? It means like brown one, because the original word for bear that was spoken by ancient people was considered a forbidden word to say, so people just said the brown thing, and so we don't even know the original word for bear. That's how much bears don't fuck around.
That's so metal.
Isn't it great?
That is.
She's gonna fuck him up.
Whoa. All right, Dan, get him. I'm all pumped with this bear stuff now.
Tachyon, I choose you. And she says, Taka. It's just very, very fast. So Team Rocket is escaping in a hot air balloon that looks like a Meowth. Tachyon looks up at it, cocks her head, and says, I bet I can do one better. And then she runs around super fast and hyper invents a blimp that looks like a Persian, which is the evolved version of Meowth. And it also has these two giant, it also has these two giant rocket engines on the side. And so she jumps into it, fires it up. This thing shoots up like an arrow and just blows up the balloon portion of the hot air balloon. And so Team Rocket spills down on the ground. Tachyon zips on over to them and says, well, you ready to give up now? And James says, not on your life. And then he and Jessie pull back some Pokeballs to throw them at Tachyon. But then all of a sudden there's just a blur of motion, and they look up and they realize that they're now holding bombs that then explode and send them blasting off again into the sky. And then Tachyon takes back the stolen Pokemon, as well as, the Weezing and the Arbok and everything, and donates them to a nice home. For people that won't abuse them and use them in kidnapping.
Aww. All right, I like a nice moral.
Yeah, don't abuse your animals, kids.
Episode 3, Badge Blues. Our heroes took care of Team Rocket neatly and got their Pokemon back, but those 2 Pokemon need to rest up at the local Pokemon Center. Our heroes also need to get one more badge if they're going to compete in the Indigo Pokemon League Conference. So Claire, Dan, and Kit head for Viridian City. At the Viridian Gym, our heroes encounter a shadowy gym leader who fears nothing and no one. As each trainer steps forward to battle, they hear a mechanical clanking. It's a Pokemon in a mech suit? Our heroes look at the narrator in confusion. I can assure you, this is a thing that happened in the anime. The Pokedex reveals nothing about the Pokemon inside. All you can tell is that the attacks it's doing are definitely psychic attacks. The shadowy figure laughs. Go ahead, use 2 of your Pokemon against it. It won't matter, you'll still lose. But our heroes can't lose. They need that gym badge. Besides, Gary Oak already drove past claiming he was on his 10th badge, and they can't let that stand.
That motherfucker.
That is the correct response about Gary Oak. Trainers, which 2 Pokemon are you choosing to face off against this meched up psychic type, and how will they work together to take it down and win your 8th badge? Claire, which pair are you picking to take on this mecha psychic type?
Ferris, I choose you. Isaac, I choose you. Yar, Ferris.
Oh, yes.
And what's going on? Who are you people?
Oh no.
All right, so the mysterious mech Pokemon is somewhat confused by, the fact that there's, a pink-haired anime lady man pirate, but they're confused by there's a small crying naked child. So, can I call him Mewtwo or no? Is that a surprise?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if somebody's waiting that long to watch Pokemon, you know what, guys? It's fine. It's Mewtwo. There you go.
Mewtwo decides to leave Isaac alone for right now and just start off focusing on fighting the anime lady. So Ferris starts off as a black mage, and tries fighting Mewtwo for a while. She's getting her butt kicked, so she switches between a few different Final Fantasy classes. She's a time mage for a while. She's a berserker. She's a samurai. She has a giant stock of 99 potions because it's Final Fantasy, and Mewtwo keeps blasting her, and then she keeps drinking potions, and the fight's just going on for a long time. She doesn't seem to be getting anywhere, though, but little does she know that every once in a while, Mewtwo's going, ow, 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 because in his side, he's getting hit by Isaac's projectile tears, which don't do a lot of damage, but they just boop, boop. He's just getting whacked in the side by tears. But as we know in Pokemon, you have a finite reserve of HP, and even if it gets chipped away 1 point at a time by a small crying naked boy, eventually, if the person who's distracting him has 99 potions to burn through, eventually it will take him down.
So good. Dan, who are you betting on to win you the badge?
Lena Inverse, I choose you.
Oh, yeah.
Lena and Dr. Facilier, I choose you.
Nice.
And Dr. Facilier's little cry is actually just the entirety of the song Friends on the Other Side.
Oh, the best.
It's a very long sound clip, but it's worth it every single time. Lena is quick to walk forward. She just begins chanting in the middle of this arena. She just starts saying, darkness beyond twilight, crimson beyond blood that flows. And so Mewtwo has plenty of time to start, lining up his attacks. He's using Swift, and he's using Psychic, and he's using all this stuff. And Lena's just kind of ignoring him. She's just continuing with this long chant. And then eventually Mewtwo's just she just keeps skipping all of her turns. What is she doing? And then Lena finishes her chant and says, Dragon Slave! And unleashes an apocalyptic wall of fire at Mewtwo.
Oh
and
God.
Basically the entire back half of the gym is blown into pieces. Mewtwo is his armor has been knocked off and is lying smoking hundreds of feet away. He's taking a knee. He's out of breath. He's trying to get back up as Lena starts chanting again to bring up another Dragon Slave. When suddenly, emerging out of the shadow next to Mewtwo is Dr. Facilier, who says, well, looks to me like what you could use is a little boost of power, right? Well, I'll tell you what, I have just the thing for you right here. And he pulls out a little magical talisman and says, what say you just put this around your neck and you'll find yourself in a much stronger form. Definitely strong enough to beat her. And Mewtwo agrees. And so he puts on Dr. Facilier's talisman and is immediately magically transformed into a more powerful version of himself, which is to say, he is transformed into Mew, who, being a tiny, wise, peaceful Pokemon, has no interest in this fight, looks at its own feet for a bit, kind of spins around in a circle playfully, and then just flies away.
Oh, it's super effective against Kit.
Oh, wow. Oh, that Dr. Facilier, he comes up from behind, man.
He's pretty sneaky.
So
All right,
pure.
Kit, I know you're in the throes of some Mew feelings right now.
Pure.
But Kit, what is your winning combination?
You know how in the game, the only way to really level up your Magikarp is by throwing it out first in a battle? And then recalling it before it dies. Well, I'm going to throw out Edward Malus, who of course says,
Okay.
Malus, how'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? And I'm like, all right, hold on, Malus. Let's not, you don't have to say the whole thing. All right, get him, Edward. He doesn't have his bear suit, so he just kind of like struggles. He just like starts trying to interrogate Mewtwo, and Mewtwo's just not having it. He's like, whatever. And he blasts a Psybeam at poor Malus, and it gets him right in the eyes, and he's just like, it's in my eyes. And yeah, unfortunately, I didn't recall him in time. He totally gets knocked out, but whatever.
Not the Psybeam! Not the Psybeam!
Oh, that's weird. Where Edward Malus is a note. It's like in really scratchy capital letters, it just says, help me. Well, that does seem like something Edward Malus would write. All right, weird. Mewtwo picks it up, and then his like visor starts getting all staticky. It's like bothering him a lot. He rips off the visor, and there, right in front of him, standing tall, taller than Mewtwo, is Slender Man, and it's like he's still wearing the visor. The whole world goes staticky. Long tendrils come up and consume Mewtwo, and probably Giovanni too, because that motherfucker's looking at this, right? Sorry, dude. Everyone avert your gaze.
Oh my god.
I mean, basically, Slender Man, in my opinion, is a ghost dark, and that is like the worst combination for psychic types.
I'm glad that round 3 is whenever we start pulling out like some of the grim shit. Nice. Episode 4. Responsibility. With their badges earned, Kit, Claire, and Dan take a break to rest up before heading on to the Indigo Plateau. Our heroes have earned a Hot Springs episode.
Oh, yeah. This one's getting left out of the American version.
Yeah. Well, it's because Dan had those inflatable breasts, so we can't have those on TV. While on their way to the springs, they see an Eevee, a small fennec fox-looking creature, seemingly forgotten or lost waiting by a tree. Being a Pokemon trainer means doing the right thing, and that means they need to return this Pokemon to its rightful owner. They find out that this lost Eevee got separated from its owner in a nearby wood said to be haunted by ghost types, and its home is on the other side of the haunted wood. However, our heroes also have earned a break, and they can trust their Pokemon, can't they? Of course they can. No one said anything about fighting the ghost types, though. Surely if they're just very stealthy or find a way through the wood or around the wood, everything will be just fine. So thankfully, each of our heroes has a Pokemon brave enough to lead this Eevee back home and responsible enough to do it without needing their trainer there to guide them. Dan, which Pokemon is going into the woods?
Can't believe I'm going to say this, but Octodad, I choose you.
Yeah!
And he just kind of goes like...
I'm so happy.
I seem to be like leveraging a lot of paternal instinct in this episode. He sees this little lost Eevee and, you know, his father instincts kick in. And so he like reaches down a tentacle and just kind of like gently and comfortingly grabs a hold of the tip of Eevee's tail. And like they start walking in through the dark forest. And the forest is pressing in ever closer around them. The shadows are getting darker. The sounds of the forest ever spookier. And then suddenly, they see several ghost-type Pokemon pop out. There's a Haunter, and a Gengar, and a Ghastly, and they're all surrounding them, looming menacingly, cackling in the way that they do. But Octodad, well, I would say he's not worried, but that's not true. I'm fairly certain that Octodad is in a at least mild state of panic at all times. But Octodad has spent a huge portion of his life masquerading as a completely different species from himself. So he is prepared. As the ghosts appear and they begin to close in, he simply raises up his two front tentacles, kind of waves them around, and does his best approximation of a spooky noise, which largely just sounds kind of burbling. And, you know, the ghosts largely believe, like they're sort of taken aback and they're like, wait a minute, is this a ghost? Is this figure before us a ghost? And like, they're not 100% convinced that he's a ghost, because Octodad is a master of disguise, make no mistake. But every now and then, you know, some people will look at him a certain way, and so he decides to prove it. And so like the ghosts have been kind of menacing this camper who's been in the forest, and they go in and they kind of like mess around with him, you know, they give him some spooks. And so Octodad goes into this campsite and he decides he's going to make a pot of coffee for his new ghost friends. And the resulting chaos that erupts in the campsite as he is flinging individual objects in every conceivable direction convinces the other ghosts that he must be a poltergeist. And therefore, they are very willing to let him and his weird little pet be on their way through the forest. And Octodad just drinks the coffee himself.
Good job, Octodad. You did your best. Kit, who do you choose?
This poor little Eevee is making his way through the forest. He's just he just wants to get to the hot springs. He feels like he can lose the spooky stuff in this forest if he just make it in time. And oh no, there's a Ghastly being a total troll to him, and like Haunter keeps trying to lick him, and it's real uncool. Not respecting the personal bubble. A little Eevee runs. You could sense there's something legendary in the hot spring. He breaks through the bushes. He jumps into the hot spring with the hopes of landing on this one rock. The rock moves. Slowly, out of the hot spring, rises the legendary Godzilla.
Oh my god.
All the ghosts that were pursuing this Eevee collectively shit their ectoplasm pants. Because even though Fire Dragon type doesn't necessarily have any strengths against ghost poison, what have you, it's still motherfucking Godzilla. And it doesn't take much but a little side eye and maybe a little glowing dorsal spines for those ghosts to fuck right back into their lavender down tower, if you know what I mean. They're peacing out. You're gonna go kick it with Cubone. They don't want to deal with this shit. Eevee's a little scared, but Godzilla doesn't really care about things that don't, like, try to punk him. You know, Godzilla just wants to know he's the coolest. And Eevee really appreciates Godzilla's help. And they hang out, and eventually, oh, what's this? Eevee evolves? It's a new evolution. Eevee evolves into a radioactive type.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Radion!
Oh my god.
Oh, it's a fucking beautiful, like, black and shining bright blue with little dorsal spikies. Little dorsal spiky fox is what this is.
Aww. Is Godzilla into it?
He's like, nah, screw yonk. Can't be bothered.
Fair enough.
Like, whatever.
So that's where Godzuki came from.
Oh. And Claire.
The dude, I choose you.
Oh, wow.
Far out, man. The dude decides to wander off into the woods while everybody else is at the hot springs just because, you know, he wants to find a quiet place to, like, smoke a J where he won't bother anybody. While he's out there, he finds, you know, the lost little Eevee. He's like, man, you look like you're a little housebroken kind of guy. Somebody left you out here? Oh, it's messed up. This will not stand. This aggression will not stand, man. What are you anyway? Like a marmot? Or like a Pomeranian? Oh wait, no, I know what you are. He goes, Eevee. He says, yeah, you're a Poochyena. It's like, come on, little Poochyena, I'll get you home. They start walking together, you know, and the dude's telling him some stories about his life, about, you know, being a roadie for Metallica and all the different phases of his life. He's showing off his bowling ball, which he's carrying around with him. When suddenly they find themselves surrounded by ghosts. And, you know, the dude says, well, ordinarily the dude is the nonviolent type, but in order to protect this little Poochyena, I am not above throwing down. Here, little guy, hold my ball. And so he hands off his bowling ball to the Eevee. Kit stole my thunder a little bit, but Eevee starts to glow after it takes the bowling ball.
Oh my god.
And it evolves into Bolion.
Oh my god.
It sprouts a mane of bowling pins.
What the fuck?
It has like horns on top of its head that look like Viking horns, like a helmet. So he's like a weird creature assembled of different pieces of bowling iconography. And also he's a little bit Viking for some reason that no one's quite sure about. And he uses his attack on them, which is called the perfect game, where he shoots 12 bowling balls out and they all hit.
Oh my god.
with perfect accuracy. Knocking all the ghost types around. The dude comes back to the hot springs, riding on his new Pokemon, Bullion, while smoking a J.
Bullion. All right, episode 5, Competition Con Job. Our heroes have reunited a Pokemon and their trainer. That's gotta feel great. Or it probably feels great for the Pokemon that saved the day and returned to Eevee. For our heroes, what feels great is a day of relaxation at the hot springs, and knowing that they're entering the championship. In Indigo Plateau, things are buzzing with activity. Food stalls and souvenirs everywhere. After signing in, our heroes notice something suspicious. 2 people dressed as children who don't look very much like children have just entered the competition. Along with them is their Pokemon, a Vileplume, sort of a cross between a mushroom and a stinking corpse lily, for those of you not in the Pokemon know, that talks an awful lot. They also prove their ability to enter with what look like counterfeit badges. Curse you, Pokemon Black Market! Our heroes know something is suspicious here, and they're fairly certain that these people aren't who they say they are. It's just possible that this might be Team Rocket. Dan, Claire, and Kit are each scheduled to fight the one called Tessie in the early rounds of the competition. And while they know they can win, what's really important is putting them up against a Pokemon that can make them reveal that they're actually Team Rocket. Facing off against Tessie, our heroes have the chance to prove to the judges that this Vileplume might not actually be a Vileplume, and that this Tessie character isn't actually a 10-year-old from Johto. And that whoever that other person with chin-length purple hair is probably isn't a real competitor either. Kit, tell me how it all goes down.
I reluctantly reach for the ball that's left. And, I kind of like underhand toss it in because I'm just that like, all right, oh God. And out comes Italy saying, pasta! Italy looks very excited. He just starts fucking talking a mile a minute. It sounds like it's Italian, but you could swear that sometimes he's just saying names of different pastas. I'm like, Italy, use meatballs. And Italy gets confused. It's like, meatballs? Where? And he's looking around like, no, you fucking stupid ass Pokemon. God, I could use a Psyduck right about now. Like, literally. Where the fuck is Edward Malus? God. Why did I use him against Mewtwo? That was so stupid. Meowth doesn't seem to think he needs to use poison against a Pokemon this pathetic, so he just scratches him. And poor Italy just starts freaking out and like crying and is waving a white flag like just right away. Just starts telling Team Rocket that if they just spare his life, he'll join them. He'll willingly defect.
Oh, no.
And you know what? They're totally willing to take this rare Pokemon. And you know what? I'm just gonna fucking let him. I could use the free space on my belt, whatever. I'm gonna find a Peter Lowe one of these days and get that.
It's beautiful. My face hurts. Okay. Claire, who do you choose to break the news to Team Rocket that they're out of luck?
The Thing, I choose you.
Oh, no.
So the Pokeball pops open, and out comes a very young and strapping-looking Kurt Russell. He pops out and says, McCready! Because you see, in this version, I'm saying that the Thing did in fact consume McCready and can now look like him. So, and he says, well, I got the word that someone in this room is a member of Team Rocket. I got a plan in mind to figure out who. A little test. I'm going to get some cable here, and all of you are going to get tied to some chairs. You see, I fought them a while ago, back in Kanto, and I saw that these people would do anything to catch a Pikachu. It was a part of them at such an innate level that I think that they can't resist trying to catch a Pikachu, even at a cellular level. So here's the plan. For all of you, we're going to draw some blood, and I'm going to place it next to a Pikachu, and if it tries to leap onto the Pikachu to catch it, then you're secretly a member of Team Rocket.
Oh my god.
And someone can say, but I don't see any Pikachus here. How do we get a Pikachu? And he says, oh, cool, I'll take care of that. And then he transforms into a Pikachu. So he actually is about to perform this test, but as soon as he transforms into a Pikachu, Tessie and the nearby purple-haired person and the Meowth dressed like a Vileplume burst out of their bonds that they were tied to a chair before and say, "A Pikachu! We gotta catch it!" And then they start running towards it. And then he doesn't have lightning, so he can't zap them to make them blast off, but he is still the thing, so he transforms into a giant, horrible spider tentacle monster covered in mouths and just eats them.
Oh, no! I thought that might happen. I was worried. Well, Team Rocket blasting off for the very last time.
Oh, Claire, this isn't Digimon. You don't have to be so fucking brutal.
And Dan, who is pulling off this big reveal?
Aqua, I choose you. And I imagine her Pokemon sound is just like a very tired sigh, which is like kind of what I project onto her when I see her dealing with other characters in Kingdom Hearts. It's just beautiful. We're going to take some time in this tournament to really show off what Aqua is capable of and make sure that everyone knows how powerful she is. Like, to give you an idea, in Kingdom Hearts, you like start off learning Fire, which is a spell where you like point your Keyblade and you shoot off a little fireball. And then as you go through the game, you start getting better. You know, like midway through the game, you get Fyra, which is an even bigger fireball. And then by the end of the game, if you are the best possible practitioner of fire magic, you get Firaga, which is a huge fireball that you shoot out. Aqua is so good at magic that she gets the spell Firaga Burst, which is where she holds her Keyblade above her head, a miniature sun appears, and shoots out a bunch of Firagas at once. So this is sort of the level above which she is working, like above every other Pokemon here. She's powerful and she's graceful. And Team Rocket, of course, is always on the lookout for that hot new Pokemon that they can steal. And Aqua will be an irresistible target for them. And so they're going to sneak up on her and pounce on her. But it turns out it was just an illusion of her because she can make illusionary duplicates of herself. And the real Aqua is behind them. Aqua has a spell called Money Magnet, in which she sucks money out of, like, off of opponents. She has retrofitted it to be Pokeball Magnet. So again, we steal all of Team Rocket's Pokemon off of them, and then she blasts them off. I'm gonna say with Teleport Spike, which is an ability where she basically just teleports around an enemy and blasts them about 12 times with energy. So they are flying, I imagine, directly into the mouth of the thing somewhere across the tournament.
Oh, no. Kit, you were very nice to Team Rocket. Episode 6. Gary Oak. More like Gary, shut the hell up, you jerk! Oh, fucking Gary Oak. Our heroes have gotten Team Rocket banned from the competition, or maybe dead, and won a couple of victories. But one victory is maybe more important than any other. They've seen Gary Oak around the competition, but each time they've attempted to be polite and congratulate him, or be friendly in front of Professor Oak, Gary has laughed and said he doesn't want to stand too close, in case he catches loseritis. In the next few rounds of the competition, each of our heroes will have the chance to slap the mullet right off of Gary Oak in a Pokemon battle. All of their Pokemon are tired from the competition, but they know this is important to you. One of them knows it more than the others and wants to be the very best, like no one ever was. A strange light starts to emanate from one of each of our heroes' Pokemon. It's evolving. It's evolving right before your very eyes. Let's see Gary Oak's Nidoking. It's an enormous mouse dinosaur rhinoceros thing. Take on this new Pokemon. So Claire, tell me which one of your Pokemon evolves and what they evolve into and how they wipe the smirk off of Gary Oak's stupid face.
The Pokemon for me who starts glowing is Ferris. Because as I said, I like Ferris a lot as a character, but in some ways she's kind of somewhat problematic and kind of careless with, you know, how her gender is portrayed in the game. It's kind of just like a weird mixed bag. So Ferris evolves into proper trans representation version of Ferris.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Now she's like a more full version of herself. I'm going to say she's gender fluid, we're going to go with.
Yes, bitch.
Yeah.
Goes back and forth between sometimes liking to present as a dude and sometimes liking to present as a lady. And with her newly evolved wokeness, she has like a sort of omniscient level view over like gender and is capable of identifying problems and also be able to communicate to people to like get people to overcome their own toxic impulses. Like she goes over to Gary and says, "Yeah, I think you be thinking of yourself like a big man, ain't you, with your Nidoking here, but why'd you choose that Pokemon as your main one? That there be a symbol of patriarchy and masculinity. You feel like a big man when you have a big proper manly Pokemon like that, don't you? Don't you, laddie?" But
I'm so happy.
But I think we all know that you're just lashing out because you don't feel confident in yourself. The other boys from your hometown, you worry you're not as strong as them, as good of a Pokemon trainer as them, and all the people in the world. But if you can, like I did, evolve into a more mature version of yourself, you'll see that being the very best is just being yourself. Now stop acting like such a coxswain and give your Pokemon a hug. I can tell it really needs it. It's just trying to make you proud.
Oh.
And then Gary's like, "Yeah, all right, dude, hold on." "Wow, you really taught me a lot about myself."
Oh, wow.
"Come over here, Nidoking." And he goes over and gives him a hug. And Nidokings and Nidoqueens are now just both, Nido democratically elected officials, which is both gender neutral and, more like socially woke for all sorts of reasons. Because, smash the patriarchy.
1,000 points to Gryffindor.
Because all Pokemon should have gender neutral names. Unless they decide otherwise for themselves.
I approve of your Tumblr post. Thank you. Here for this. Kit, who do you choose to evolve, and how are they going to win?
I'm just going to tell a story, and I do apologize in advance. All right, so I fucking hate Gary. What a fucking prick. I have been trying to get him to pick up a Slender Man page for like the whole goddamn game, right? I'm trying to serve it to him like a fucking subpoena, and he will not touch this goddamn page and start the reckoning, all right? But eventually, right at the end, do a little switcheroony, and he touches it, and out comes Slender Man. But that's weird. Slender Man is like glowing. Is he fucking evolving? I didn't fucking ask for this. Why are you evolving? Is it because I tried so goddamn hard to kill this kid? God damn it. It's like killing kids is bad. Okay, so Slender Man changes and he gets a little taller and a little swoller? Oh no, not like this. Suddenly, Slender Man has kind of like this long, flowing white hair. His like shirt is gone. He's just wearing this business blazer, just open. You can see his shining white muscles underneath. I'm like, what? Oh no! It's Swolder Manly. No! No! I didn't ask for this. This is not what I wanted. No! If I wanted uncomfortably attractive anthropomorphic monsters, I would have got a Digimon. Fuck.
Oh.
God, it only gets worse. Terrible white tendrils begin to emerge from where his nipples should be. It's so Digimon. I have to stop this now. All right, I'm ready for my evolution. Godzilla, it's time to go mega. Pull out my little Mega Stone, and Godzilla turns into a beautiful homage to Space Godzilla with the big old, like, crystal shits coming out of his back. And a little bit of that...
Crystal shits.
Fucking giant crystals, I don't know what to tell you. And the Godzilla from the Destroya battle, where he's kind of, like, glowing orange from within. And that's Mega Godzilla. And that's the only thing that's gonna stop the Swolder Manly, which I cannot control anymore because he has evolved beyond my level of badges.
Wow.
So, thankfully, Mega Godzilla saves the day. Maybe Gary dies in the process. It doesn't matter, because at least Swolder Manly does not exist anymore.
Digimon was the original Mega Evolution, though, to be fair. I mean...
Oh my god.
And we got fucking shark torpedoes coming out of nipples.
Oh.
Thanks, Digimon.
Send me your fan art. I don't want to look at it, but I want to know it exists, and if I have to look at it to make sure it exists, then that's what I'll do. Dan, which character is evolving, and how does this fight go down?
Well, this has been a real tough fight for me and my Pokemon, but it's also been a tough fight for Gary. Like, this is a full-on, like video game style Pokemon match. So we each start with 6 Pokemon and we throw them in and they fight for a while and one of them drops and then he gets pulled out and then the next one goes in. And so we're like trading blows and trading Pokemon and our guys are fainting left and right. And in the end, it comes down to our last 2. Gary with his Nidoking and me with the last Pokemon I would ever want to use, Octodad.
Oh, yeah!
You know, for a bit, Octodad has a pretty decent showing. Like, he has 8 limbs. And so he's able to, like, get up close to Nidoking and kind of, like, flail around unpredictably and, like, get a few stray hits on Nidoking. But Nidoking quickly realizes, like, the pattern to Octodad's seemingly random flailings and is able to start, like, countering the multi-limbed blows. And really, like, once that happens, it just takes, like, a hit or 2 to put Octodad very much on the ropes. He takes a few labored breaths. He thinks about his children back home, thinks about that Eevee that he helped through the forest, and he begins to glow. And Octodad evolves into Eniadad. Enia being the Greek prefix for 9, because Octodad now has a 9th tentacle. And he flies back in and continues flailing. And again, Nidoking blocks the pattern, but this time there's a 9th tentacle. And
He's
it catches
unstoppable.
You can't possibly think that any Pokemon can stand up to an assault of 9 tentacles. 8 maybe, not 9, which is a truth that the Nidoking finds, much to his displeasure, as he goes down for the count, and Eniadad stands victorious.
Well, our heroes didn't end up winning the Indigo League, but they won important victories. This is just the beginning of the amazing adventure of Kit, Claire, and Dan. Their journey is destined to be packed with nonstop action, millions of laughs, heart-pounding perils, and endless excitement. Together they will encounter fantastic friends, evil enemies, and meet creatures beyond their wildest imagination. And as their story unfolds, we'll unlock the magic and mystery of the most wondrous place, the incredible world of Pokemon.
So at this point, are we going, bye, bye, while holding our hand above our head, like just totally straight armed and just like our hand shaking back and forth like 3 inches in the air?
Yeah, for like
as
a
we
good
walk
2
away
minutes.
into the sunset?
Yeah.
Bye, bye, bye.
Everybody was only 1 point off. After tallying up the points, I see that Claire is our winner.
Oh man.
Aw.
So, congratulations. Your Pokemon have proven to be the very best, and your skill as a trainer is sure to earn you many gym badges to come.
I like first place. It's comfy and easy to wear.
And yet you go to Digimon.
All right, so I'm going to run down the rounds really quick. In the Squirtle Squad round, the winner was Dan for the beautiful story of Crush. Oh, my heart. You'll be re-listening to that a lot, I know. In round 2, which was Team Rocket Appears, it was Claire. Man, you told us a thing about a bear, and you admitted that, not just admitted, you full-on owned that Spearows are some bullshit. Truth to
Spearows
power,
will fuck
man.
up a balloon. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Spearows will fuck up your day. That's what Spearows will fuck up.
Fuck up your life.
Round 3, the gym badge. Kit, you had Mewtwo get eaten by Slenderman. I had to give it to you. That was the biggest bald move in the entire universe.
You know, I love Mewtwo, but thinking back on it, maybe I shouldn't have caught Slenderman. Maybe some things shouldn't be taken out of the wild.
How many badges do you need to successfully be able to control a Slenderman?
There aren't enough, apparently.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Slenderman caught you.
Oh my god, you're right.
Jeez. Round 4 was the Eevee round. Went to Claire because the dude. I mean, it was very close. All
was
of you
very
were
good.
so close. But yeah, the dude. Because you also did an impression of the dude. That was excellent. Round 5 went to Claire, and that was.
That was the
yeah.
thing, performing the test to see who
Yeah, okay, I want to be very clear. I wasn't wild about what happened, but it was bound to be effective. And I had to grant that some weight. So there you go. R.I.P. Team Rocket, you live on in our hearts and minds. I love you. Round 6, Dan.
Eniadad.
Just gave him a 9th arm. Like,
Yeah, man.
I'm not
It's unbeatable.
made of fucking stone. ultimately, I wanted to make you all winners because I loved everything that you made and it was all beautiful. But Claire, as the winner, I would like to ask you, now that your team has some time to kill, what will you all do and what does the future hold in store for your Pokemon?
Ferris and the dude, or should I say the dude and proper trans representation version of Ferris, which is her evolved form.
Fuck yeah.
Really hit it off. The dude's fond of his White Russians and, alcohol in general. And Ferris, growing up on a pirate ship, is no stranger to having some rum now and again. So they end up hanging out at the bowling alley a lot with their new friend, who is Bolion. And the three of them have a bowling team together. Isaac tries to find his way home. He's like, I'm going to see if I can maybe find a portal as a way to get back to Earth or whatever. And he wanders into a town and sees there's this a tower in the middle of the town. He's like, you know what? That looks like a place where I can get a nice view of the surrounding area. I'm going to climb up that tower. And it turns out he's in Lavender Town, and that is that super haunted AF tower. And he has to basically do the Binding of Isaac, but in reverse, climbing up the tower while being chased by ghosts. Isn't yet another haunted roguelike adventure, much against his will, and runs away from ghosts while crying. Jaheira decides that she wants to get away from civilization, spend some time out in the wilderness, so she goes out into the woods to get in tune with nature, and while out there, she comes across Blanca and the Squirtle Squad, who are also living out in the wilderness away from civilization, although they do occasionally go into cities to kind of steal stuff and generally menace people and do their best to erode society from the outside. And Jaheira gets added as yet another honorary member of the Squirtle Squad and gets a pair of sunglasses.
Fuck yeah.
This is all well and good, but secretly in the background, when Jesse and James and Meowth return to Team Rocket headquarters, they have been infected with the thing. So they managed to infect a bunch of other people in Team Rocket, along with Giovanni. Soon everyone in Team Rocket is things, and they kind of spread throughout the world, let's say.
No.
You know who they don't fucking get, though, is all the Seinfeld gang. They definitely don't get all of them.
They definitely do not. I tried to avoid the thing just destroying the world, but it's hard when the thing is your story to not have the story end that way, so.
Well, congratulations to Megan Bob on your first trip running Surprise Party. You did great. This is really fun. Awesome. I'm glad we were able to do this.
Aw, thank you. Thank you guys for playing along and for making Pokemon sounds and for being Team Rocket for me and for all saying a line in unison, even though that's an annoying and difficult thing to do in an audio medium. You guys humored the hell out of me. I appreciate it.
This is a blast.
Time for the Mew thanks.
Bless us every Mew.
Over to Twitter. Thank you to Andrew Young, the Unpacking the Power of Power Pack podcast. Ooh, nailed it. JTFJ2, the Jakening. Brian Clark, Icon Jade. Alexander, CJ, 3 owls with CGI feathers and human faces. Oh, God. Cosplay Fiend, Cosplay Devotee, Danielle. Also known as Fat Blood 69.
Fat Blood 69.
Robert Ramsey, Florian, Vladimir Duran, Danny Blackston, ENT, Sean Boyd, Cool Down Now, Earth Mofo, I Bring Nothing to the Table Except Napkins, fair enough, and Vander Turner.
These are all such good Pokemon.
Over to Tumbles. Thank you to Not Very Bright Raven, Changing Shades, Secretly a Skeleton, Sid Rabbit Blog, and Fatball 69. Who, I will say, on Tumblr said, I don't use social media much anymore, so I haven't been showing up in the kid thanks. Well, you did twice just now, huh? But I'm still listening to parentheses almost every episode. Parentheses, I'm behind on Extraordinary League. Well, get on it, my dude. And I still love you guys and the podcast so much. Thank you for doing what you do. Aww. Heart emoticon. No. We heart emoticon you too, dude. Over to Facebook. Thank you to Adam Mayo, Jeff Polier, Viola Sanderlin, Jeffrey Ketchum, and Robert Ramsey.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Surprise Party. Come back next week, where it will be a match of Dolores Umbridge versus Agatha Trunchbull.
Smash Metafiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman and production assistant Sharon Schneiderman, with logo design by Claire Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme song, Volatile Reaction.
You can find us on Twitter at SmashFic Podcast and search for the Smash Fiction Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Smash Fiction is made possible thanks to our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/smashfictionpodcast. Please consider donating as little as $1 each month. It helps us keep the show going, and we have great rewards and extra content for those who help us out.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
I do appreciate that Professor Oak wants to know, your pronouns. I just wish he could think outside the binary a little bit.
I was going to make a joke about that instead, and then I was like, I didn't have a way of phrasing it that made me happy enough, so I gave up. Which is how you should approach challenges, kids. Okay.
You're never going to be the very best with that attitude, Bob.
That's why I'm not competing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Bob,
That's
by the way,
delightful.
if you haven't seen footage from that game, as soon as we finish, you should look up footage from that game. It's awesome.
Okay.
The best way to play it too is you can play it co-op, where different people control his different limbs. And so you have to try to coordinate to make him walk across a room, and it's really difficult.
Oh, that's amazing. Does he look perpetually perplexed